never fails to make me hate my identity. I've been doing research on neopronouns all evening, specifically these them, their pronouns, because those are the pronouns that I use. Because people have been asking me, how do you pronounce them? How to use them in a sentence for months now, literally ever since the beginning of summer. And I am literally shaking right now because I am just so upset at what I had to see. Most of the results either express their hatred towards them or their very vague explanation. I tried scrolling through there. It's just hate after hate after hate. And now I have to decide if making this series could endanger my safety. I looked and I looked for another account that's either as big as me or bigger, that is a person of color, that uses the same pronouns as me, and there's only been one. And honestly, that is really scary.
Damn, you don't like people who use neopronouns? That's crazy. You know what else is crazy? The fact that you're making jokes about killing queer people in your comments.
I was gonna make a funny joke about this, about like, haha, that's actually extremely liberal. But actually, I wanted to talk about this because some of y'all would be really unhappy to learn about who people like you would have been 20, 50, 100 years ago. You're the white moderate. The person that doesn't believe in throwing gay people in jail but just thinks they shouldn't do it around other people and shouldn't ask for equal rights. The kind of person who thinks that we should abolish slavery but that black people shouldn't be considered equal to everyone else. Only ever comfortable with social change when it doesn't actually threaten the established norms. You think it's fine to ridicule people that challenge the social structures in place because deep down, you don't really think that things need to change. You don't really care about liberation. You care about not being seen as bigoted.
Hi guys, it's me, Alvin, from Alvin and the Chipmunks. If you liked it, then you should have put a ring on it. And you have father figure, friends, and definitely bitches. Have fun, have the gray, dressing up for Polaroid and cigarettes, socialize, romanticize life. Pinky promise, I'll still love your garden, even with no flowers, even with no flowers.
Hi, Benji here, and this is why it's important to be inclusive of neopronouns. This creator is currently facing backlash for educating people on how to use neopronouns like frogs. The argument is that such pronouns are taking things too far and justify hatred towards the LGBTQIA+ community. The same argument is often used against flamboyant gay men, that they're doing too much and encouraging homophobia. But just like how shaming flamboyant gay men just restricts them from being their authentic selves, while doing nothing to stop those who are committed to being homophobic, shaming people with neopronouns is just as pointless and harmful. The responsibility should be on others to not be prejudiced, not the community to police itself. It is justified to find neopronouns uncomfortable and tricky to use. But we can't claim to support inclusion and freedom for the LGBTQIA+ community if we're not willing to try our best to accommodate something that's as inconsequential to us as using people's pronouns. Hope that helps, and if it did, you should pre-order my book, link in bio.
Really? Wow, that's crazy. I never knew. I'm sure a quick Google search will... Well, hey, you left a couple other comments, so maybe one of those? Let's see. Nouns can't be pronouns. Go back to the 3rd grade. Okay, well, again, I'm sure a quick Google search will just... Oh no. Pronouns are quite literally nouns by definition. Ooh, that's not a good look. Okay, look, we'll try one more, 3rd time's the charm. Let me see. I know you responded to another commenter who said dude and bro are used as pronouns. I'm sure you had a great take on it. Why? Damn, and the 3rd strike with the cultural erasure. That's crazy. Because here's the thing, AAVE speakers use terms like dude, bro, and sis as pronouns all the time. For example, sis just left a minute ago, or bro was tripping yesterday. I mean, you didn't think they were referring to their actual brothers and sisters, did you? Did you? For my sake, I need you to tell me you didn't.
Neopronouns in this. You're chronically online debt. If I have to hear one more trans person who found out they were trans fucking 2 years ago talking shit about neopronouns.
Teaching you how to use.
Absolutely not.
You are right. Absolutely not. I am absolutely not going to sit here and let a cis man tell the trans community what they should be doing and what they shouldn't be doing. The argument that I am making, or is going to make, or the argument that I'm going to make, is going to be very simple for you to understand. If you don't understand it, I don't even know why you're here. You, as a cis man, you do not understand the issues, the struggles, and the discrimination that trans people go through every single day of their lives. You don't get it. And you know what, something I don't understand is why people are so fast to blame trans people for the transphobia they go through. Why are we not blaming transphobes? Why are we not blaming the people who are literally causing the problems? Why are you blaming the people who are literally just existing? Our identity is not on display for you to play with. Our identity is who we are, and if you don't like that, go away.
I support any pronoun except neopronouns. Y'all make up random words and gibberish to become comfortable. People who don't support neopronouns are really the loudest group of people, and for what? Language is made up. We made up words to make our experiences easier to describe. That is why language exists. If everyone had the same mindset as these people do, that language can't expand, we would still be speaking like cavemen. Gender is a social construct. It was made up, and neopronouns help a lot of people, especially neurodivergent people, understand their own identities. Plus, it's just not as big of a deal as people make it out to be. I ran a poll in my Discord server, which is full of people who use neopronouns, asking if they also have a different set of pronouns for people to use, and a whopping 180 people said yes, and 2 people said no. And even if they exclusively use neopronouns, it has no effect on your life. I don't know why this plus, well, I don't want to date a trans person, are the majority of the arguments that people try to start with me when I talk about trans rights. If you are cis, these things will probably never affect you. You may be asked by a few people to use neopronouns, maybe you'll even get asked out by a trans person once or twice, but in the scope of your life, it will likely have little to no impact on you. Who it does impact in the long term are the trans people who have to deal with hearing these things daily. So with that being said, of course I support neopronouns. Neopronoun users, you are valid. Your identity is valid.
Before I start off this video, I just want to say I don't give the slightest rat stick on what people have to say, and I'll be turning off the comments under this. I'm a student that has to wake up early for school tomorrow, and I have work immediately after that, and I simply do not have the time anymore to get into the same tired-ass arguments that have been circling around since Tumblr. Anyways, I'm sure everybody knows about the recent flare-up of neopronoun discourse because a cis man decided that he was the spokesperson for every trans and non-binary individual, with a few trans and non-binary creators agreeing with him as well. I feel like I have no choice but to speak my mind on this, as I'm a trans creator myself with a decent following on this app who happens to also use neopronouns. And because of the topic trending again, I'm starting to get annoying comments under videos that aren't even remotely related to the topic. So as a person who actually uses neopronouns themselves, you should at least attempt to listen to me rather than people who don't even use them in the first place. Even if in the end you still don't agree with me, what I'm trying to say is that you should at least attempt to hear out someone who actually uses neopronouns rather than people speaking for us who have really fixed views on how the link between gender and pronouns work. So for context, the summer 2021, I came out as bigender, identifying as male and non-binary. The non-binary part is what I consider makes me trans, as I was born male. But it just so happens that at the same time, I had taken interest into using neopronouns. As for me personally, since I don't feel gender the same way as everyone else when it comes to the subject of binary pronouns, although I still go by he, him, neopronouns help me feel gender euphoria when they're made up of my special interests. But to clear some stuff up, to put it bluntly, the fact that I used neopronouns is not what dictates my transness. The dysphoria that I felt last year, which led me to have an epiphany and realize that I was trans, does not correlate with the fact that I also use neopronouns. And I even met medically transitioned trans men, women, and non-binary people who happen to also use them as well. Now here's what gets everyone on this app very twisted and confused. Just because someone takes interest in some aspect that helps them with self-presentation doesn't mean their identity equates to it. The simplest way I can explain it is, let's say that you have a favorite t-shirt that makes you feel confident. Just because you're wearing the t-shirt and it makes you feel nice and comfortable doesn't mean that you are the t-shirt. That's essentially the way how I perceive neopronouns personally, as well as a majority of people who also use them that I know of. Just because something makes you feel comfortable and grounded does not mean your whole identity revolves around or equates to it. Absolutely nobody is saying, "Hi, I'm not human. I actually identify as your grandfather's prostate plug." And another thing people can't seem to wrap their heads around: we do not care whether or not you use them. A majority of people who use neopronouns, this includes me, already use a subset of pronouns alongside them, as we do acknowledge that not everyone is going to use them. If you do encounter that small percentage of people who do use them exclusively, you can simply not interact with them or just use their name. People not using our neopronouns isn't the thing that annoys us. It's when people have their heads so far up their asses to not see the subset of pronouns and are obsessed with the fact of perceiving us as living in a fantasy where we're saying that everyone has to use them. Almost every neopronoun user won't care whether or not you use them, as there's more important things to be worrying about than people avoiding using a specific pronoun. I'm surprised I'm the one that has to tell you, considering I'm a neopronoun user, but get your priorities straight, as there's more prevalent issues within the gay community to be worrying about than announcing to the whole world that you're not going to be using someone's pronouns. Moving on to the stigma issue that everyone seems to keep bringing up this time around. Now please pay attention, because I want to make sure that everyone is comprehending what I'm saying. Okay, you ready? Ready? Transphobes and homophobes do not care about neopronouns. We need to stop blaming something that's fairly recent like neopronouns for bullying, assaults, and killings that have been happening for centuries, especially since there isn't any statistic on a sudden morality rate drop because of their existence or presence. And the excuse saying it gives the community a bad name, to be honest, seems like the most laziest excuse, because it's very much Calvin Guerra appeal to the oppressor behavior. It seems very weird to me how everyone is suddenly switching up and caring about what a cis straight person thinks now. A murderer who targets trans people isn't going to say, I think neopronouns have pushed me to my limit. Let me go torment a trans person that doesn't even use them in the first place and have my whole reasoning be because of neopronouns. Crimes against gay and trans individuals are still going to exist and still be prominent despite the existence of neopronouns. Eliminating them isn't going to solve the issue, and is quite literally going to be a waste of everyone's time if they're trying to condemn it as if it holds some significance to the overall stigma at hand. As I said before, there are more concerning things to be worrying about than pronouns. There's no way in hell I'm keeping the comments on under this video, especially since I learned that a majority don't even want to watch the video in the first place. But if you do want to genuinely learn about neopronouns, common arguments you see around them, as well as how to use them, I have a pinned video on my page labeled Neopronouns 101. Otherwise, shit, I'm going to bed.